classification. Alright. As a means of review, come on. Loading. Alright. As a means of review, we talked about classification is only used, scientific classification at least, is only used for what kind of things? Yes, I can see all hands going up. Classification is only used for what kind of things? Nicholas? Right, but it's only used for blank things. Vertebrate? No. Nathan? Living things, thank you. Now, we can classify other things. I could give you a bunch of Legos and say, hey, classify these into groups. However, they're not going to have the domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species like all living things do. Okay? Stop clicking. Stop. Okay? So, someone from your notes give me the exact definition of classification. You have from your notes or on the board? Ethan, Hannah.
The arrangement of animals and plants in taxonomic groups according to their observed similarities.
Good. So yesterday I gave you a bunch of animal cards, and I said, okay, I want you to classify these into groups based on characteristics. What were some of the categories that we use to classify those animals? Sophie?
Creatures with 4 legs and creatures with more than 4 legs.
Good. Creatures with 4 legs and creatures with more than 4 legs. Bella?
Their habitat or land, ocean, air.
Very good. Their habitat, where they live. So land, ocean, or air. Reagan?
Herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore.
Good. Herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore. Connor?
How rare they are and how common they are.
Okay, how rare or how common they are. Good. So there's a lot more we could go through, but we're not going to do that now. So we classify things to be able to find them easier, to see how they relate, to create order, right, to prevent having chaos. Down, put that away. Okay. We talked about examples of organization in schools, having to do with districts, grade levels, classrooms, subjects, notebooks, etc. We took a list of all kinds of foods and classified them based on where they go, the refrigerator, the freezer, or the pantry. Okay? Then we talk about these 3 vocab words. Classify meaning to sort according to characteristics. Characteristics being a distinguishing feature or quality that describes a person, place, or thing. And then an organism being any living thing. Nicholas?
You're saying how are living groups. So yeah, but it's kind of hard to classify them. You can even put pictures of animals on them.
That's true. But that still doesn't make them a living thing.
Yeah, but when you do it nicely.
No.
Turn that language working for
Crazy. Alright, we also talked about the father of classification. Who was the quote-unquote father of classification? Connor? Good. Carolus Linnaeus. Okay? He was a Swedish scientist. Which of these subjects was he obsessed with the most? Botany, study of plants, physician, doctor, study of the body, or zoologist, study of animals? Connor? Botany, study of plants. Good. What's your question?
I didn't get key
concept?
Yeah.
Organisms can be classified based on physical similarities.
Organisms?
Yes. Something like that. Okay? So, did Carolus Linnaeus create the classification system for living things? Yes. Do we use his exact system today?
No.
No. We've updated it since then, right? But he was the first guy to come up with those 8 levels. Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay? So, we credit that to him. We also talked about taxonomy. What is taxonomy? What is the study of taxonomy? It's on the board. Go on. I see all hands going up. What is the study of taxonomy? Hannah?
The science of naming and classifying items.
Very good. It is the study of classification. What is a taxon, then? A taxon. Caleb?
A group of organisms in a classification system.
Very good. A group of organisms within the classification. Then we also talked about this italics word up here. So we're going to pick up today. What is this italics word called? Not what does it say, but what is it called? Parker?
The scientific name.
Very good. The scientific name. Okay? So the example we have here is for the white oak, the Quercus alba. Which of these would be the same for maybe like a red oak? Which of these would also be in the scientific name for a red oak? Landon? Quercus. Good. This is the genus name for all oak trees. Okay? Alba is specific to just the white oak species. Okay? What language is this in? What did I tell you? Sophie? Latin. Very good. We're going to talk about why today. So, we're going to pick up in the notes right where we left off yesterday with binomial nomenclature. Okay? Two very long words. I'm going to explain what it means in just a second. Binomial nomenclature. Now, if we break it down based on what we know about the roots, let's see if we can figure out what it means. What does the prefix bi normally mean? Not bio. Bio means life or living. What does bi mean, Nicholas? Two. Very good.
And also, nomenclature we learned it last year.
Good. Don't say it.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
I do know it though.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay? Binomial. So the prefix bi means two, like a bicycle. Right? It has two cycles or two wheels. Now, gnome or nomen, okay? Gnome or nomen means, anyone know? Reagan?
Name.
Name. Very good. So we have two name, and then clature means system. Two name naming system. So binomial nomenclature is this really fancy word for the system of naming things. Okay? The system of giving every living thing two names. So it always uses Latin words. There's your next blank. It always uses Latin words. There's a reason why. I'll talk about it here in just a minute. It is always written in italics. That's slanted writing. And the two parts that make up the name, got them. Put those away before I take them away. Thank you. Put them in your backpack and don't let me see them again. The two parts are always taken from the genus name and the species name. Put those together, you have the scientific name. Okay? So, like we said, binomial nomenclature, when we separate it into what the words mean, it means two name naming system. The first word is the genus, the second word is the species. Also, notice that the genus is always capitalized, and the species is not. Okay? You will never see Quercus alba written like this. Okay? That is wrong. Okay? It's always capital Q. But you would also never see this. This is wrong. Okay? This is correct. Quercus alba. This one's capital, this one is not. Okay? Bella.
Is that because, like, Quercus would kind of be like the root of the word?
Not necessarily. That's just the genus name for all oak trees. Okay? Good. Alright, let me give you some examples. Or in some thoughts, I guess. Okay. A genus name. Nicholas. A genus name includes one or more physically similar species, right? We just said that all of the genus Quercus would be all of the oak trees. So that is physically similar group of organisms. They all have qualities of the oak tree. Different species that are the same genus. Okay, so the white oak, the red oak, the green oak, the tall oak, the big oak, whatever it is. are thought to be closely related. They're similar, but have a few different characteristics. Like I said, the genus name is always capitalized. And then the second part of the name is the species descriptor. Okay, so the second part of a scientific name. It's always lowercase, and it always follows the genus name. It's never written alone. You would never see just Alba for the scientific name of the white oak. Okay? So another example, you know Quercus alba is the white oak. Here's another example. The Tyto alba, which is the barn owl. Okay? Now, you say, Ms. Rosalie, why is there an alba in Quercus alba and an alba in Tyto alba? Why do you think? What is similar about the barn owl and the white oak, where they would both have the same species last name? Caleb.
They're both white.
They're both white. Okay? But Tyto alba is referring to the barn owl because Tyto is the species for all owls. Okay? Quercus alba is talking about the white oak. Ethan?
Is alba where we get albino from? Oh.
Good question. I don't know. I would assume so. I had not thought about that.
What is
Ella?
I really don't get how it's Tyto alba because there are many other owls that are white, and also, how does it mean barn owl? Like, where would you get the word owl from if alba sort of means white?
Owl comes from the Tyto part. So it's not
barn.
Not every single, that does not mean that Tyto is the Latin word for owl. That is just the genus name that we call all owls.
So like,
Sometimes you can tell from this scientific name what the animal is because the Latin word means the correct thing. Sometimes it's just the name that we label that group as.
So all owls are Tyto alba?
No, all owls are Tyto. But all barn owls are Tyto alba. I can't think of another one. Perching owl or something would be Tyto something else.
because it's
But then where is the barn part coming from?
That's what I'm telling you. I want to say that this is also called the white owl. That there's two names for it. I don't know that for sure. But that's what I'm telling you. Not always does Tyto mean. Let me give you another example. Another example is humans. Okay? Humans' scientific name is this. Homo sapien. Okay? Neither of those words translate to human in the Latin language. Okay? They're just words that we use to label all humans. Okay? Alright. Talk with me, I think, in a little bit, and give me some more examples that might make a little more sense. Okay? Alright. Next one. Now, the question then becomes, Ms. Horsling, why? Why do we have to have a scientific name for all these creatures? We already call them the white oak. We already call them the barn owl. Why do they need a new name? Davin, face this way and get writing. Well, this is why. Scientific names help scientists to communicate. Okay? What we mean by that is this. There are some animals that have multiple common names. For example, if I go to China and I say, whoa, I ran into this huge cougar yesterday. Okay? The Chinese people might say, whoa, what's a cougar? And I say, oh, it's this animal, it kind of roams around the mountains. It looks like a lion almost, but it's a little bit different. It's got paws, it's got long teeth. They would say, oh, that's a puma.
Puma and cougar are the same thing.
Okay? Well, then I go to England, and I say, yo, I saw this crazy cougar when I was in China the other day. And the English guy says, what's that? Oh, you might know it as a puma. I don't know what that is. Okay, well, let me describe it. It kind of looks like a lion. It has a padded paws. It's got claws. It has big long teeth. Oh, that's a mountain lion.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? There are multiple common names for different animals, but there's only one scientific name. So, if I go back to the Chinese guy and I say, wait a second, I think what you're talking about is the Puma concolor. That's the scientific name for a cougar. Say, oh, I know what that is. Okay? Because there's only one scientific name. Does that make sense? Okay. A couple other examples of that.
Well,
The reason why we have scientific names is to help scientists communicate. Because some species have multiple common names, such as a cougar, like I told you. Okay? However, each organism only has one scientific name. So here are some more examples. The little insect or bug that we call the roly-poly, some people call it a pill bug, some call it a sow bug, some call it a potato bug. Okay? But its technical scientific name is Armadillidium vulgare. If you call it that, every scientist will know what you mean.
He's vulgar. Armadillium.
The weed that we call dandelion. Okay? It's a weed. Dandelion, Irish daisy, lion's tooth. If someone tells me, oh, Miss Wilson, I saw this crazy tall lion's tooth the other day, and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But if they call it a dandelion, I know what they're talking about. Scientifically, it is called the Taraxacum officinale. Another one, the house sparrow or the English sparrow. It's called the Passer domesticus. Raise your hand if you've heard the word domesticated or domestic. Good, meaning house or something that is trained, something not wild. Okay? Hence, the house sparrow. Okay? Mountain lion, cougar, puma. The name is Puma concolor. And then for a plant example, red maple, scarlet maple, and swamp maple, they're all the same tree. Technically, it's called the Acer rubrum. Now, no one walks around going, ooh, that Acer rubrum looks awesome. Okay? But scientifically, if you're trying to classify the animal and you're trying to talk to a scientist, you can use that scientific name and they will be able to figure out exactly what we're talking about. Okay? Landon.
Also, another way to think of it as because different examples from different countries calling one animal different names. Another example to help you understand it would be people, let's say for our language and the English language. Our language, we can say one thing that is the exact same thing. They say it a little bit. That's basically the way it's going. Is we call it one thing, they call it another one. It's just the same thing.
Yep, exactly. All right, one more. We gotta move on. Caleb.
So the genus for the roly-poly, it kind of sounds like armadillo. Is a roly-poly and armadillo related?
Good question. Why do you think it's called something similar to an armadillo? Why do you think?
They both roll.
They both kind of roll up to protect themselves. Good. Now, are they related? I don't really know.
I mean, maybe.
But I can see what the name comes from. Okay? Alright, other questions we'll get to in a little bit. Next one. Linnaeus' classification system has 8 levels. Okay? Here's where you write this in your notes. Domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. You do have to memorize these 8 levels for your test. Okay? Not anytime soon. But you do have to memorize the 8 levels in order. Now, what was the sentence I told you we used to help us remember the order? Can you give me that answer? And then tell me your question? Okay, go like this. Let me see it. Okay. What's the sentence, Reagan?
Dear King for spaghetti.
For what?
Great spaghetti.
There we go. What's your question, Reagan?
I didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had a comment, but
Okay. Go ahead.
it was, so really the domesticated dogs is something like Canis domesticus something. And it's like for the domestic species of dog. But Canis lupus is wild, and that's the wolf. So basically, dog domesticated, wolf wild.
Exactly.
So that's how it would go. Because it's like domesticated. But then, which one was it? Was it
Was it the Cougar? Anyways, it was one of the ones on there.
Uh-huh.
One of the domestic.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have to
question.
go back to slide.
Oh, well, we actually have Canis Lupus coming up. So I'm gonna hold on to that. Alright, next to where you wrote this in your notes, I do want you to write this. The sentence. Dear King Philip came over for great spaghetti. Okay? The deer for domain. King for kingdom. That should be easy. Philip for phylum. That should also be easy. Came for class. Over for order. For family. Great for genus. And spaghetti for species. Okay? Now, there are other sentences out there. You can make up a new one if you want to. I don't care. But somehow you do have to memorize the order of those levels of classification and be able to write them down for the test. Okay? Now, it is true that every single organism will have a certain group it falls into on each level. Okay? These are the most broad, contain lots of animals in one category. The smaller you go, the less animals there are in each group. Okay, let me show you an example. Levels get smaller and more specific from domain to species. Gavin. Levels get smaller and more specific from domain to species. Hold on. Now, let me explain this picture. That should be in there.
No, it says from kingdom to species.
Oh, yeah, you need to change that from kingdom to domain. Sorry.
Okay.
Your notes say from kingdom to species. Just recently, scientists added the domain level. So I need to change that. So, yes, they get smaller and more specific from domain to species. Thank you, Bella. Okay? Yes, Connor?
What do we have all of this space for?
The summary is supposed to go on that other page, but I accidentally on the back page. So it's just my mistake. Just my spacing. You're good. Okay, let me explain this and make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Kingdom Animalia. Okay, technically we would go one up to domain. All of these would be in domain eukarya, right? Because they have eukaryotic cells, meaning they have a nucleus. Nod your head if you understand that. You remember that. Okay. So all of these are in Kingdom Animalia. Okay, not Plantae, fungi, or Protista. Meaning, they all reproduce by eggs. They all have to eat other things for energy, right? They're all multicellular, all those things. From Kingdom Animalia, we get a little bit smaller to Phylum Chordata. Okay, that is the name for the vertebrate group of animals. So, notice what's not included in this group. We don't include the jellyfish, the clams and mussels, the sea coral, or the spiders. All of those are invertebrates, so they get taken out.
Lobster.
And lobster, yes, thank you. Okay? So that's all the vertebrates. From Phylum Chordata, we then go down to class Mammalia. It's all the mammal class. So we get rid of the shark, he's in the fish group. The fish, he's in the fish group. The crocodile, he's in the reptile group. Okay? As well as the bird, he's in the bird group. Okay? Etc. Then we go from the mammals class to carnivora. Okay? Sounds like carnivorous, but I think there are some more characteristics. So, we lose the dolphin, we lose the little platypus, possum, mole thing, and the skunk, and the bunny, and the bat.
Wait,
Okay?
What about the dolphin?
Bats are mammals. Talk about that in a couple days. Now, from carnivora, we get into family Canidae, getting close to the canine family. Okay? So we lose the bear and the little cheetah, cat, leopard thing. Okay? From the Canidae family, we get even more specific into Canis, getting close to the canine. Okay? So we lose the little fox thing. Then, from genus, we get to Canis lupus. Okay? That is this kind of wolf-looking thingy.
Coyote thing.
Coyote, yeah, whatever he is. Okay? But notice there's only one animal in this group. Okay? That's because this is a very specific species for only Canis lupus. Okay? So we don't include the Dalmatian dog thingy. We don't include the wolf, howling hyena guy, or the fox. Okay? So my point is, this organism, okay, this wolf thingy, has a name for every group. He's in Kingdom Animalia, Phylum Chordata, Class Mammalia, Order Carnivora, Family Canidae, Genus Canis, and Species Lupus. Notice that his scientific name is the genus and species name combined. Canis and lupus making Canis lupus. Make sense? Okay. I'll take 2 questions, then I'm going to do your directions for the summary, and then I'll take more questions. Parker.
Imagine if we, like, called animal, or, like, referred to animals with their scientific names on a daily basis, like, oh, your Canis domesticus is so cute.
Yes.
That'd be
It'd be a little odd, eh? And Caleb.
On the candidate for the family,
Mm-hmm.
how did it lose the bear and the leopard?
How did it lose the bear and the who? Bear and the leopard?
Yeah.
Because they're not part of the canine family. Canine has to do with, I want to say it's like the dog. So we got rid of the bear and the leopard. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you the directions for your summary, then I'll take other questions. Wait. Okay? Alright, so your notes end on that page, and then Connor's right. There's like a big blank page. Okay? I want you to turn to the next page. So this is what you should see. Okay? Here's the big blank page. I want you to turn to the back. That's where your summary is. Okay? Couple directions. And for online people, you'll have the same directions. You'll just enter it into the little box thing. First, it needs to be 3 to 5 sentences long. I would lean towards the 5 sentences because there's a lot of information in this first set of notes you could talk about. So basically you're writing a mini paragraph. Okay? Normally our summaries, especially with history and things like that, end up being about 1 or 2 sentences, which is fine, but because there's so much information here, you can give me like a mini paragraph. Okay? Also, since you're in person, it needs to be in cursive. Thirdly, actually, I want everyone to draw this little arrow right here. Here's why. If you're going to write a mini paragraph, you need to end it. So, here's kind of the question you're going to answer with this paragraph. What is classification? Now, you could spend your whole paragraph talking about scientific names, but that doesn't really tell me what classification is, right? Give me a good general overview of everything we put in these notes, okay? You can't really go into extreme detail, otherwise your paragraph will be too long. Give me kind of just the highlights. What is classification? What is it used for? Who created it? What is the scientific name for? Etc. Okay? Alright, let me go ahead and begin working. Hannah, what's your question? Yes, you may.